I couldn't be happier. Well, actually, I could if the charge had been murder. What are you talking about? You know we haven't believed that he's dead. It's all been an act. But it's been so exciting being here with all the fans who do believe he's gone forever. It's such a victory for them, and I'm excited with them. Besides, I think we are starting to believe that he's really dead and gone. I don't see how he could possibly come back. Maybe it's just so he can live a normal life. We'll never know for certain if that's the case. But you're right. After yesterday, I began to think this may be for real. Well, then let's see this as a victory and move on. We'll get to experience him in the music that's going to come out, and we can continue to watch his videos on YouTube. Gone but not forgotten. Well, Jackie Blue had a good point, though. She told me to think of all the things that made me a believer. They're still there. Mind if I interrupt? How do you know that someone or some organization outside of Michael Jackson hasn't been manipulating the clues and manipulating all the believers? It's true that a lot of clues were manipulated and taken out of context, twisted to fit. But there are some things that are just out there and for real. What Jermaine said at the This Is It premiere, and Joe's speech at the BET Awards, LaToya telling us it's all an illusion. All the conflicting stories and the lack of facts that were brought up at the trial. Stop it. People don't always behave the way you would. Just because you don't understand what was said doesn't mean that they're implying there's a hoax. I just don't believe that he was a drug addict and that he was stupid enough to die that way. Get over it. Stop waiting for Bam's Day and move on. You know, it hurts less being a believer. I don't like being manipulated, but I really don't like the way it hurts thinking he's really dead and gone. Do you really want to be like those weirdos who still believe that Elvis is alive decades after the fact? That's where you're heading. Let's just explore some of the facts. Universal was behind the David Guest documentary that just came out on Michael Jackson's life. MSNBC is also Universal, and they're behind the Conrad Murray documentary that's being filmed and could possibly be aired next week. And just a side note, B. Howard is on Universal Music's label, which sounds like it's part of the Universal family, but technically it's not anymore. And if I remember right, when I started researching Michael Jackson, I could swear I remember him saying that if he had to do it over again, he would have been on Universal Music's label. But I don't always remember things correctly, so don't pay attention to me. What's that got to do with anything? Exactly. You know, in Pearl Jr., she said that when the verdict was read, they said, allegedly Michael Jackson, allegedly June 25th. Go watch her video. You know, and besides, we, the believers, are correct.